Welcome, everyone, to a call for judgment. As we know, we're seeing a rise in satanic practices, witchcraft, sorcery, mediums. Obviously, we've seen a huge boom in mediums and psychics on television. A lot of Christians get duped into this. They've had a tragedy in their life. They've lost a loved one, whether a child or a parent, and they seek these people who are using witchcraft and summoning demonic entities for answers when they should be seeking God and praising God and hoping that God will heal them from their losses. So we're living in a time period where it's very, very hard for people to become pregnant. Nobody's asking questions, of course. It's becoming commonplace for couples, married couples, etc., to get what is known as IVF, which is a way of trying to create a baby pretty much in a petri dish because people are having such a hard time making babies. Men's sperm aren't functioning. Women's eggs aren't functioning. Nobody's suspicious as to why. Of course, they just think this is some natural occurrence. And they're like, try these great scientific methods to unnaturally make a baby because you can't make a baby, but we won't tell you why you can't make a baby. Back in the day, it was almost as if, people got in bed together and had sexual intercourse with one another and were able to make a baby almost immediately. Now it's people have to follow maps and time schedules, et cetera, in order to even get close to making one. So no one's suspicious about it. So while people aren't suspicious about it, instead of asking questions about what's being dumped on us from the sky, what's being dumped in our food, maybe these towers that are all around, the radiation, the headaches, the anxiety, the depression, all this stuff, instead of asking questions about that, people will just do what they expected to do with this article. Turn to witchcraft, right? That's the solution, of course, they'll tell you, because as this woman says, she was infertile until she used spiritual powers to manifest pregnancy. This will be another way that they market witchcraft. Oh, use your energies. And I'll read the article to you, which you'll just laugh at because it talks about all this new age spirituality stuff about, if you think it into reality, it becomes reality, right? This is all witchcraft mindset that they've thrown into our current culture, and Christians get sucked up and all of this stuff. I get so just sickened when I hear Christians who go and see mediums and things like that. In Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31, do not turn to mediums or seek out spiritists, for you will be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 6, I will set my face against anyone who turns to mediums and spiritists to prostitute themselves by following them, and I will cut them off from their people. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 27, a man or woman who is a medium or spiritist among you must be put to death. You are to stone them. Their blood will be on their own heads. Okay? In Revelation chapter 18, verse 23, the light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of bridegroom and bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's important people. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. The Bible constantly talks about witchcraft, mediums, sorcery, invocations. People in today's society have no idea because many churches do not talk about these things because they pretend as if that stuff doesn't exist anymore, right? I mean, the Bible talks about Jesus casting out spirits and demons over and over. Every single movie we see, for the most part, has something to do with someone either being demonically possessed or some type of witch performing witchcraft or a superhero performing superpowers, right? This is commonplace in today's culture. So people have been so desensitized to mediums where it used to be a thing that people laughed at and they were like, yeah, okay, it's embarrassing to go and listen to someone who's using tarot cards. And, as you can see some of the pictures on the screen, the woman's holding up the Baphomet. Of course, no big deal, right? Nobody puts one and one together with a psychic and Satanism and the same symbols that we constantly see in witchcraft. You see the pentagram and all these lame tarot cards as well. So people who are struggling, and from the stuff that I've read over the years, especially recently, a lot of couples are just like heartbroken over the fact that they can't have children. A lot of people, are just, they're just heartbroken over it. And they'll turn to whatever they can turn to try to have families because a lot of people, naturally women want to have families. Real women want to have children. That's kind of a part of being a woman, motherhood. So this will be a way that they market and push spirituality, which, is just another term for witchcraft and sorcery on people. That Christians think spirituality has to do with them, worshiping God, yet they go see these things where God forbids them from seeing. So this woman, it says, she played her cards right. A self-described British psychic is sharing how she manifested the life of her dreams and is helping others achieve theirs with the power of tarot. Annabelle Hannigan, 47, claims she has spoken major life events into existence, from financial wins to pregnancies, using the art of manifestation. I have manifested everything in my life, she said in a video posted this week on the women empowerment YouTube platform Shara. Oh man, talk about pulling teeth. Imagine watching that channel for like 15 minutes. Women's empowerment channel. More like Zombie Nation, they should just call it. That's exactly why we're in the spot that we are. Empowered women who just follow what they're told, and weakened men who bow down and follow what they're told. It's pretty unbelievable. So the article goes on to say her path to enlightenment, another term that we hear all the time in, the New World Order, is enlightenment in Freemasonry. Enlightenment, right? So her path to enlightenment began when she performed a tarot card reading for a friend that revealed her boyfriend was cheating on her. I mean, give me an utter break, really. And you can see, too, some of the pictures. It looks like she's demonically possessed. She has black eyes. She's holding up crystals. Crystals, another thing that Christians have been tricked into bringing into their homes, just like Ouija boards. And everyone laughs at me when I talk about that stuff, because they can't see it with their own eyes. But then they don't realize why they feel, certain things in their life, why they feel this weight on their shoulders, why they feel anxiety and all this other stuff that comes from bringing and inviting spirits and invoking spirits into your life. You have to pray these things away. But instead, people open their doors to it. I mean, this is just basic, this is like the basic level of witchcraft and Satanism stuff that they practice, is invoking spirits. But the common person's like, what's this guy on drugs? What's he talking about? Invoking spirits. And you're just like, why are you so miserable? Why are you so depressed? Why are you feeling, a certain way and darkness? And, and it's like, oh, well, you've got a room filled with Ouija boards. You got crystals on the floor, which you were told are going to summon great energies and give you money. And you know what I mean? I'm going to be prosperous because I have crystal rocks in my house. Oh, no. You're going to be opening yourself up to possession. So she talks about the tarot reading she had. We thought it must be ridiculous. He was so devoted, and he was the one doing the pursuing. And then he rang her and confessed to the cheating with the person that the tarot card indicated. So it must be true if the tarot card indicated something that's a very likely, it has a possibility of occurring, right? I mean, if the tarot card told you, told some of these people to put in, to tie rocks to their ankles and jump off a cliff. I mean, they might actually do it because that's how vulnerable and weak-minded people are. So the mom of four added, my friend said to me, you have to do this. There is no one that can do it like you. While Hanigman was raised in a very ordinary home in Israel. What a shock. Excuse me, I can't say that. By parents who didn't believe in anything spiritual. Oh, right, they didn't believe in anything spiritual. Right, because there are those who say that they are, but are not. Enough at the synagogue of you-know-who. So anyway, goes on to say, I'll get a sense. I might feel things in my body that will relate to the person. If the person is sitting in front of her, she might be able to catch a glimpse of their aura or some sort of imagery. All of those signs from the universe will conspire together to assist me in analyzing the person. Well, aren't you special? Those would be demons that are speaking to you, clearly, but we're supposed to believe because you hold a card. So what is it then? You're holding up a card, and these things that you're feeling, what is it? Does anyone ever think that? Right? And just holding it up. What are you, just smelling gasoline in the sky, in the air, or pollen, and it's just magically telling you this stuff. People still don't believe, there's like, all right, intuition about that. Oh, okay. So it says since embarking on her higher power journey, of course, the higher power being Lucifer, she has even dabbed in some magic for herself. So then they actually use the term magic. You see how this works, right? With tricking people, with psychics and tarot cards, and then magic. In her mid-20s, she needed a specific amount of money to go on a vacation and recited the affirmation that she's getting the money by a certain date. She said they were all positive, self-taught, and empowered me and heightened my energy, she said, of the affirmations. Totally by chance or by magic, exclamation point. I found my way to that exact amount of money on that exact date. Oh, how convenient, right? What's interesting, too, is that people don't realize all this stuff with positivity, how it's really inverted. Like you're not summoning positive, there's no positive spirits out there you're summoning other than summoning the Holy Spirit, and praying to our Father in heaven. But, these people are just like, oh, positive energy. So what's the positive energy? That you need money, that you're suffering from greed, that you didn't go out and work for the money that you needed. So you just you think it into existence. Would you go rob a bank on that day? And maybe that's what she ended up doing. Would you go to 7-Eleven? Right? You needed money on that day, and then by chance you went there, you robbed the 7-Eleven, and then you probably told the police officers that you were practicing magic, and they probably just let you out the back door, and everything just got forgotten and dropped. That probably is the way that the whole story really went. So at 30, she was looking for a dream man and claims to have manifested him down to his hair color and occupation. Oh boy. When it was time for me to have my children, I was a little bit infertile and a little bit ineligible for fertility treatment on account of my body weight, so I did magic to have the children. Now she's a mom to 4 children. Tove, Vigo, not to be confused with Vigo the Carpathian, Zevi, and Ludo. Would that magic have worked without physical assistance? Of course not, she said. Magic works with nature. It doesn't work against nature. That would make no sense. So I just wonder when like a common person reads this, like what are they thinking? Like this is just a crazy person? Right? Yet they're probably the same people who go and see psychics and have... So what do they believe? Like, how do people not see we're in a spiritual war here? You know, like this is an article in the newspaper, the New York Post, right? Okay, so someone's reading this. They're probably like, oh, maybe we should try magic. That's the likely thing that somebody sees when they read this. Or they're going to send this, right? Some mom who has a daughter who's married, they can't have kids, they're in their 30s or 20s, or maybe even 40s. Right? She's going to be like, oh, maybe this is a good idea. That's what's going to happen. They're just going to pass it on. And then everyone's going to be like, we should try this. We have nothing to lose. No one's going to read this and be like, whoa, wait a minute. We're talking about magic here? Magic's real? Magic, like the Bible talks about, well, I never knew the magic. The Bible talked about what to do to witches and psychics and stuff. Oh, right, because the church doesn't want to talk about that stuff, right? That would be hate speech in today's society. Right? It'd be a crime in today's society. And of course, preachers are afraid to speak negatively, which really kind of drives me nuts sometimes because, you know, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure I drive people nuts with all the negativity, which I hear every day on my channel. So point being, this is going to get passed on to people about magic. Her saying magic works with nature, right? And all the things that the Georgia Guidestones always hear about protecting nature, witches in nature, climate change. She added, but the same emphasis that a person from a different walk of life would place on prayer or on blessings from a holy person, that exact same type of faith is what I have around magic and manifesting, and I do it all the time. Oh, okay. So in other words, somebody should read that and say, prayer, obviously praying to God, right? She does the same thing, but around magic. So she's praying to Lucifer for things, right? No coincidence, of course, in some of the pictures she has a necklace that has monarch butterflies on it, but that's another story for another day, right? Oh, no, it's not probably. So her high vibration superpowers extend beyond her personal life. She says, living her dream as a psychic and sharing her magical gift with others is a dream for me to have this as her full-time job. So there you go. Just more magic in plain sight, just constantly talking about these things. And again, you're going to hear more about how magic can solve all these problems that are created by our own government, of course, our own government that's poisoning us, that's, you know, putting us under mind control, it's psychologically just assaulting people. You know, no one's going to ask the question, right? Like, wait, shouldn't the question be why somebody's infertile and why they would need to, like, do that? No, they don't ask that. They just go, wow, look, I'm going to pass this on to Timmy. Oh, I'm going to pass this on to little Mary and my granddaughter. All right? Cluelessly just continuing to add to the problem, which is the fact that we allow the devil and his minions to be glorified, put on a pedestal, and propagate in our society. And they continue to, you know, use magic, witchcraft, and sorcery in pretty much everything without actually admitting to what they're doing, worshiping, and summoning, right? It's pretty scary if you think about it, but this is today's world, ladies and gentlemen. So you want to get pregnant, do black magic. Oh, sorry, good magic. Wink, wink, because if there's a difference, and don't tell me there is. That's the most ridiculous thing. There's good magic. No, there's no such thing as good magic. God forbids it. That means it's bad, okay? I don't want to hear about it. I believe magic's real, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. Where most people are like, that's not real, it's hocus pocus. Oh, right, you've been desensitized, put under mind control, but you believe everything in the news is real, right? Like Russia and Ukraine and all these bombs going off with railroads and trucks. Yeah, it's all happening, not coincidence at all. There's nothing going on here, and there's no silent war. Zombie, 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 hey, hey. Literally. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless you and your families.